Lousy At Gaming presents Lousy at Podcasting. Now, your horrendous, dreadful, frighteningly horrible gamers and us from Lousy At Gaming.
Hello, Lousy Gamers. Welcome to the Lousy At Gaming Podcast. Well, I almost gave my other podcast name.
Yeah, no kidding, you freaking backstabbing son of a bitch.
I'm a two-timer, and this is the Lousy At Gaming Podcast. The Lousy, what do we call it? The Lousy at Podcasting from time to time, but we are
Lagcast.
The Lagcast. Lagcast kind of sticks. I use that in my name when I do all my little videos and stuff like that. Lagcast.
Yeah.
We I don't know. I think we did it before the CADcast, didn't we?
I think we did do that for a little while.
Yeah, and then the CADcast. They're pretty big. They did pretty good for themselves. I don't know. They still do that.
I think so.
Cheap ass gamers. That was always a good web. That was a good podcast. Very very balanced, and they had a really good site for finding good deals on games back in the day. I'm sure it's still very good.
Yeah, for sure.
How you been? Good to see you again. Oh, I didn't even introduce myself. I am Gary, TheRealDeFo. You'll find me TheRealDeFo everywhere. PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, but mostly on Steam, Battle.net. But that's me. Obviously, my co-host is Geargarious.
What up? What up? Our names aren't on the bottom.
Not here. Well, they will be on the video stream.
Oh, that's right. That's where they got the editing process.
We go through the editing process. I'm trying to improve. I have a new background. I'm starting to add some pieces to the background. You'll see it this week on the video. I do like to do a delayed release on YouTube to try to drive folks to go listen to the podcast instead of watching the YouTube. But either way, It doesn't matter.
Yep. Whatever works to bring people together.
It's it, baby. So what's going on? How was your weekend?
Weekend was pretty chill. Had the granddaughter all day Saturday, so we went for a walk and, harassed people because that's what she likes to do. She likes to talk to everybody she can get her hands on. So
they learn young, these women, don't they? Sorry, there's no women here to defend themselves. It's the truth. They talk. They talk a lot.
To everyone.
It's fun. So my daughter, she's 16. She'll be 16 in August. So you went through this. You watched your daughter grow up, and it's a weird time. Like she's a grown up. I mean, I love her to death. She is my favorite by far. The boys suck. She's great. No, I'm only kidding. But
Daddy's little girl.
She's turning into a woman, and she looks like a woman now, and she wears these tank tops that are tight, and I'm like, geez, where did those come from? You can't show those. They're bigger than mom's. What's going on here? I don't get it.
Is she going through driver's training yet, or?
So in New York, 16, she can get her permit. So her birthday is August 1st, so she'll get her permit around then. She's going. Actually, they're going. So instead of doing like a lot of the friends here, they used to have big parties, and then that's kind of simmered down a bit. And she's got a group of friends. I think there's like 7 of them with the moms going out to Montauk, which is a beach on the eastern end of Long Island on the southern fork. So the island splits out in forks. So it's on the south fork all the way at the end. So the mom and the girls are going out for a week, and it's actually her birthday week. They're doing it to celebrate everybody's sweet 16. So she'll be away for that. So when she gets back, she'll go do her permit test, and she passes.
So and you don't have any involvement in that. You're bacheloring up for that whole time.
So great, dude. I've already got a night planned with I didn't reach out to everybody yet, but we're gonna have like a bourbon whiskey night and just have everybody bring over their favorite bottle of whiskey or bourbon. We're gonna go sit out on the deck, me and a bunch of the dads and some of the friends of the Garcast that live in the area. So we're going to sit outside, fire pit, lights, cigars, and some whiskey.
I need to hop in the Jeep and head that way.
Dude, come on out. You're welcome. Yeah, so I think we're going to do that like Monday or Tuesday night. Stained and Disturbed are playing on July 30th at Jones Beach, which is one of the, like, it's not a really big arena. It's an outdoor arena on the beach. It's fantastic. I'm so happy. I've always wanted to see Stained. And Disturbed too. I'd love to see them.
Like,
so I'm
killer
pumped.
freaking concert, because Stain just came out with some new music.
Yeah, they're doing some new stuff again, which is really nice.
Aaron left his cowboy hat back for one album. So and from what I've heard of it so far, it
sounds like Stain, which I'm okay
like
with.
Old school Stain, yeah.
I'm okay with it. Sometimes you want them to maybe develop and change, but and then they do these albums and stuff. It's like, oh, I'm in. In. You got any big summer concerts coming up that you're going to try to hit?
Boy, it's been so long since I've been to a concert. I know Five Finger Death Punch is coming around. Nice. Falling in Reverse is coming around. So there's definitely some good stuff coming this way. So I don't know. We'll have to see once if I get to a concert.
I know Godsmack is coming here in the summer, but I think it's a weekend where I won't be here, so I'm bummed. Last year, I mean, one of my favorite modern-ish rock bands is Tool. They were here last year, and I missed them, and I was so bummed. I'm like, he's doing so much other stuff. I'm like, he's never going to do another tour with Tool, but they're doing another tour, and they're going to be up in Connecticut in, I think, November. So I gotta get up there and see them. So,
especially that video I posted the other night of that girl covering Tool. Oh,
dude, her
voice was freaking crazy.
I love that band. There's just so much going. When you really like, I love just throwing on the headphones and just listening. And there's so much going on in their music.
There's so much depth to
it. Really does
the heaviness of the bass and the melodicness of the guitars and his voice, and of course the drums are. It is just a well put together instrumental.
And then go watch a video that they would put out in the old days. Oh my God. Insane.
Yeah, the little stop animation clay dude chopping meat out of the tubes.
It's so good. So good. Anyway. That's good shit, man. That's good shit. So I haven't heard too much negative feedback on the show. I don't think anybody wrote in this week, so I guess that's good, huh?
Yeah. No news is good news, so they say.
We are going to be starting to update the Discord. I'm going to call it the website in the next.
It is a website.
Next day or two, yeah. Start tinkering around and recategorize. We mentioned it last week, but we're about to implement it. Got a little busy this weekend, but
clean it up a little bit.
Yep.
And
you try to
make it easier for people to find
ignore areas if you want,
or
find that kind of stuff. So look for that this next week or two. And if you're listening to the show and you haven't been on the Discord, get your butt over there. Guess who came back this week? Plum. How great was that?
I haven't seen him in for freaking ever.
I want to catch up with him. He popped in, he said hi, and he's sitting around. He wished, by the way, a happy birthday to Woody today. Today is July 10th when we record.
One of the founding members.
44. He's young. I didn't realize how young he was.
Mr. Morning Wood. Now I understand why he calls us the old bastards.
Really?
But honestly, he looks almost as old as we do anyway. So
he really does. Yeah, I met him in person once. He's old as fuck. Anyway, so happy birthday, Woody. It's nice to see you celebrating a 44th, and hopefully you don't spend a ton of money on a new car battery.
Many more.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, chugging along here. I thought you were trying to come up with some ideas on a topic for the week.
Yep.
And we landed on movie. You wrote movies, but the problem is I don't really watch movies. Although there are some movies I want to watch.
Yeah.
I watch a lot more TV shows now. When Netflix and Amazon and all these companies started to, and HBO started, right? I guess with Sopranos and that kind of stuff. But the TV shows are just so quality now.
I mean, you don't even need Hollywood to make anything anymore.
No.
The quality of these companies now are just ridiculous.
So good. When's the last time you went to a movie in the theaters?
I have not been to a theater in probably 10 years.
Yeah, pretty much me too. I know I was never really big into it, and then COVID was like the perfect excuse not to go because they wouldn't let you in anyway.
Well, and I hated listening to people chomping on food and kids crying, the smell of stinky feet when people took their shoes off. So I got a 7.1 surround sound system and put it in my living room, and with my TV, I don't ever need to go to the theater again.
My guess would be the last movie I saw in a theater is probably the original Avatar.
Oh, wow.
Which was very well worth seeing in a movie theater, especially with the 3D.
Did you see it in 3D?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw it in 3D, but I own it. It is one of my favorite movies.
The 3D was, I went with the boys. They were young then, right? How long ago was Avatar? Over 10 years ago, right?
Oh, yeah, easy.
And it was just, everything like, I don't know if you know in the movie, but there's like little specks of dust floating around. They're light. Like in the movies, it's just, it was just so good. And I remember leaving and the boys were like, Dad, that was like Halo in a movie because of all the ships and stuff as well. And I'm like, yeah, it was like Halo. All right.
Now, cool. last week we talked about VR and how it's really not that. Can you imagine if that movie had been done in VR? And those things are literally floating around you. Like you could almost feel like you could reach out and let one fall onto your hand kind of thing, So
Matt Serra, right? The MMA guy?
Yeah.
He was on Joe Rogan this week.
Oh, okay.
And he started talking about, he brings his Oculus with him everywhere he goes. He is addicted. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. He was talking about some game on there. It was a fighting game like something one or something. I think it had the number 1 in it or something like that. And it was a fighting shooting game. He's like, it's so good. Like, he's like, it's amazing. And I'm an idiot anyway, but I love this stuff. And then Rogan, who he's like, I used to play video games. He goes, I can't play them. I got too addicted to them. He's like, I can't do it. But Matt Serra's in. It was pretty funny. I was like, what the timing? He's talking about the VR. He loves it.
That's awesome.
So anyway, man, I talk a lot. So what do you got? What movies, TV shows have you seen lately?
The last one my wife and I watched was The Extraction. And it's actually the second one, and it's done by Amazon Prime, I think. Yeah, and it's got Chris Helmsworth is in it.
Okay.
And he's like this ex-Navy SEAL or whatever it is. He gets hired to go in and extract people out of hostage situations. Dude, that show is literally nonstop action from the first 3 fucking minutes in all the way till the end.
That's a series, huh?
It's a movie, but they're on their second one now.
Okay.
Yep. So the first one was equally as good. Just phenomenal, well written, tons and tons of gunfire and explosion and fighting, and just I absolutely loved them. It's like if John Wick was in a combat kind of thing, It's kind of along that line. This one man army, you know what I mean? Just devastates that. And then this last one had like a really cool twist to the story toward the end of it. So that's what made it even better.
That's great. I'll put it on my list. I got such a long list of TV shows I want to watch.
Trust me, it will be well worth it.
It's funny because, I talk about this a lot with the other show is it depends on whether my wife is around or not, what I watch. So, I try to pick shows traditionally that she'll like, but it takes a while. Like Shrinking was a show on Apple TV, which I knew she would like, and I kept watching it around her. And she kind of starts to watch halfway through, and then it's like, oh, I really like this show. But I'm trying to think like The Last of Us. When I was watching that, she hates all that shit. So she's like, this is stupid. What are you doing?
Oh, that's what I love about my wife is she's like into everything that I'm into. Gore, violence, like all that kind of shit.
If there's sex, like she's like, the kids could be watching. I'm like, they watched this. They're 21, 20, and 16.
We're like, when we look at the description at the top, it's got to have violence, gore, blood, and sex. And then it's an instant yes, we're going to watch it.
Did you ever watch the movie X?
I don't think so.
I tried. I did not like it. It was so slow. It was probably a 2-hour movie, and it's about a group that goes to like some weird farmhouse somewhere to film a porn in like the 70s. So I'm like, okay, this is cool. And, they were filming porn and stuff like that. But it was like at least an hour in before anything was even starting to go on. I'm like, I'm done.
If I'm not getting anything within 15 minutes, I'm done.
Yeah, I checked out.
Yep. And then the other thing we watched was, I think it's German, but it's dubbed over in English, and it's done pretty well.
Okay.
You can tell, but not really. And that was the Gryphon, and it was very much like, it was very much like, and now I can't remember the name of the series that was huge about the underworld, the up top world, and lower world. Stranger Things. It's almost kind of like they take a little bit from that, because there are two realms that this kid can go back and forth into, and he's got to fight this, ultimately this Gryphon at the end of it. But it's a pretty good series, pretty well written, and we both really liked it. Tony and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, cool. I'll put that on my list as well, for sure.
Your list must be like a roll of toilet paper.
So I put an app on my phone. It's called
Shit I'm Never Gonna Do.
Real Good. Because when I hear TV shows, I'm like, I go and I put it in my track list. So like, I'm going in there now to see stuff I have on there to track. Let's see. Your lists. Track TV shows. Limitless. I don't remember that. Someone must have told me. The Offer, which I have watched half of.
I do remember Limitless.
Barry ended up watching, which was freaking amazing. Yellow Jackets, which we watched. My wife actually ended up liking that. Yeah, so once I see shows too that I like. Chimp Empire, which was something Rogan said was amazing. That's on Netflix. So anyway, I'm putting these on my list, and one day I will get to them. I never finished The Wire. Like, I did the first 2 seasons of The Wire. I have 3 seasons left. Anyway.
I challenge you within this next week to watch one of the 2 that I mentioned.
All right,
next week you have to give me a review.
At least one show of them, right?
One show, yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan. What have I been watching? So the big shows we watch, my wife and I love the show Alone, which I don't know if you've ever heard of, but they take 10 contestants and they kit them up. They get to take, I think, maybe 10 things, but they take bow, arrows, tarps, stuff like that, and they drop them off somewhere in frickin' Canada. And they typically, what they do is the person that lasts the longest wins. And there's been it's amazing to see people go in and see who does shelters first, the shelters second, what type of shelters they build, and I love all of this stuff. So
kind of a spin-off of Survivor, only you're on your own. You're not with a group.
Yes. I'd liken it a little more to maybe Naked and Afraid, but they are alone. I think Naked and Afraid is a couple, right? They put these 10 people in completely different areas of like this area. And they hunt for game, and some people sometimes people win from just starving themselves the longest. Other people you get really good at fishing and hunting, or maybe there's a few times when people have gotten big game, they usually have one, and that a moose or no one's ever gotten a bear yet, but I've seen them get moose or I think it's been mostly moose is when the big one they get.
Are they all planted in very similar areas, or are some areas more susceptible to fishing and some more for hunting, or is it pretty equal how they...
It should be pretty equal because it's in the same region. They this year they actually gave a little behind the scenes before they dropped them off, how they scope out the areas and check to see that there is some wildlife there. So they look for bear scat, which means that there's bear there, which they could hunt. Or that means there's berries there or other animals as well. So they look for certain things. They pick the 10 locations, and then the players just pick the locations out of a hat. And that's where they end up.
What is that on?
It's on the History Channel.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So, do you have TV, or do you...
I don't have cable TV.
All right, I didn't think so.
Yep.
I
think we might have Hulu, though.
Do you have Netflix?
I have Netflix.
They usually put the seasons on Netflix after they complete.
Okay.
They don't
I think we have Hulu, so it might be on there too.
Okay. I dropped Netflix when they did the password sharing.
Oh, got rid of it?
Yeah. I mean, my mom used it, which not a big deal, but my kids, like, they had to come home every 30 days and re-register their Xbox so they can go watch Netflix over there. I'm like, screw you. Yeah. I have other means to get their shows.
Yep. I probably watch more Amazon Prime than I do Netflix anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
I think the best one is probably, the highest quality would be Max from HBO. Yeah. They usually have the best shows, but they also don't put out 6,000 shows and some hit and some don't, right? Usually when they put something out, it's pretty good. And then The Bear season 2 is out, which is an Apple TV show. It's about a cook whose his brother passes away. His brother owns a restaurant in Chicago. His brother passes away, and he goes back to Chicago in the first season to take over the restaurant. And now we're in second season of this story. It's only 30 minutes show.
That's up my alley.
It's really good. It's really
I might have to drop that free 3-month Apple TV. Yep.
Dude, there's so many
through it.
There's so many good Apple. Actually, Apple, I was talking about HBO Max. Apple's been really good. Like, there's so many good shows on there. Foundation season 1, season 2 is about to come out. And Foundation, that was a fantastic show that comes out this next month. Severance was really good. The Bear. I think maybe
what
Bear's,
was the one that
you know what, Bear might be on Hulu.
Jason Momoa did where everybody was blind.
Oh, I don't know that one.
That was an Apple TV exclusive.
You know, I might be wrong. The Bear might not be on Apple. It might be a Hulu show.
Well, I'll be doing some Googling after we get done here.
It's on my.
I know I wanted to get Apple subscription because there was a Michael J. Fox documentary out that looked.
It was awesome.
Absolutely amazing. You watched it?
Yeah, it was really good.
God, I want to see it.
The Bear is on. Oh, it's on Hulu. I apologize.
Sweet.
There you go. Watch. It's really good.
I'm gonna check that out tonight.
And then they get some really good special guests in there. This season they had one of the episodes. They had when they do the flashbacks and they pull in some of the older characters. You're like, oh my fucking God, it's awesome. Anyway, and then yesterday, so I was mentioning I have means to get shows. I don't really have many subscriptions. So my Sunday mornings after a big UFC event, I watch. And UFC 290, I watched that yesterday.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Did you see the fights?
I didn't see the fights. I just get on YouTube and watch the little clips and updates. And
I might have to get you and my friends and family so you can see some of these shows that I get like this. Oh, dude, every fight was great. Like you got the kid. Bo, what's his last name?
Dude, he had like what, a 20-second knockout, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, you know what though? I give the guy credit. The guy took the fight
this
last week.
Minute. Yeah, he took a last minute fight, and
Bo Nickel he looks legit. He's a Penn State kid, or a 2-time Big Ten champion in wrestling, I think. Yep. He's legit.
He's just a beast.
He really is good. And then the fights were so good. All the other fights were excellent. If hopefully I'm not spoiling it. And if fast forward if you haven't, but the Volkanovski fight, he's just so good right now.
I'm telling you that guy's going to have 3 belts someday.
He's so good. He fought Rodriguez, right? Is who he fought?
Yeah.
And Rodriguez is no slouch, but he just and you know it is a likable character. Like my son loves him. So that was a really good fight. The Marino.
Well, you remember the last fight he did was with Khabib's protege.
Yes.
And that was a weight class up.
Yes. He's fighting all over the place.
He was beating that dude's ass.
I know. It's insane.
He won that freaking fight.
He's incredible. He did win that fight. He did win that fight. Absolutely.
He did. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what any judge says. He beat that dude's ass.
Yep. The Marino fight was great. I love Marino. But it's funny. You watch these fights and he fought. What's the other kid's name?
He lost, didn't he?
He lost, but you know what? I think
it was a tight fight.
It was so close. It was fantastic, as you expected from them. Really good. And what's his last? The guy DeBrejo or DeBreeze?
Yep.
He is. I really like him, and he had a great fight. And it
was a good card, really, for sure.
Fantastic. Yeah, they killed it this weekend. You know what? UFC is something the old UFC.
It's literally the only sport I watch anymore.
I love that sport. When it first came out, it was just so, I didn't like it. It was too crazy for me. And then when COVID hit, it was the only sport that was on TV.
Well, the other thing I like about it is it's generic. There's even Dana White, somebody asked him a question about something being racist, and he said, that's just a stupid fucking question.
Yes.
We don't deal with that shit here.
Yeah.
You know, everybody that's here we're here to fight. That's it.
Well, they fought during COVID. It was the only sport on TV, so I started to watch it. And I think, you know what really got me into it was the respect that they all have for each other after a fight. Like, you'll see somebody knock the guy down, he's out cold, and like immediately he's over there like hugging him. Are you all right? Like,
making sure they're okay.
That sportsmanship. I know they do a lot of bullshit talk before it, but that's kind of the game. Like, they did that.
I mean, it's that whole build up to the fight. That's their job.
Yeah.
You know, they're promoting themselves, and that's their job.
Yeah.
Is to hype themselves up so much that you're going to want to watch it. But you're right. That at the end of the day, you'll always see them hug each other.
It's amazing to me.
Every single time.
They're so tough. Like, I could last 2 seconds, one hit from one of these guys, any one of them, the lightest weight out there, I'd be gone in a second. And these guys get hit. Most
of the women out there would beat my ass.
Dude, the women are tough.
Featherweight women.
I'll be honest, I don't like watching the women fight. I don't know why. And they're good fights usually. There's something about watching girls beat each other up I don't like. I don't know why. Maybe I'm sexist.
You don't like seeing a beautiful face get pounded.
No, I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I'm old-fashioned. I'm an idiot. I'm a sexist. I don't know what I am, but I just don't like it. Actually, I think even Rogan said once, he had one of them on, and he's like, I just don't like to see when the girls bleed. He goes, that's when I really starts to bother me. Even Rogan said it. So I'm like, you know what?
They do every month anyway, so.
Well, I don't like them then, usually. They're really annoying. I'm sorry. Gigi's never going to come on this show with us.
Oh, God.
With her Woody shirt.
Yeah, with her new Woody shirt, her new morning wood shirt.
Yeah, she sported that on the OC podcast this weekend too. Nice job.
Nice.
Anyway, so that's what we're watching. We did a little sports in there as well. It's what I watch, you know? What can I say?
Yep.
You can't get TV or movies better than UFC, I think. Anyway, no. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I absolutely love that sport.
Yeah.
You know, and I came from a wrestling background. I wrestled when I was in high school. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. My last year, I placed 6th in the state.
Wow.
I've had numerous conference championships and regional and district championships, but I never got a state title.
And you didn't want to do it in college?
There were really no, back in that time, there wasn't really scholarships for wrestling.
Yeah, yep, you're right.
So I would have had to pay for it, and I was too stupid to go to college, so. I went in the Marine Corps instead.
Now you had a daughter, right? You didn't have a son?
Yep, just had a daughter.
So I'll tell you, my boys wrestled in middle school. It is the worst sport to watch your kids do. It's horrible. Freaking horrible.
Especially if they're losing.
You know what? Knock on wood. Well, I can't. It's over anyway. Both of them had. I think my son Anthony lost once in 2 years, and my son Nicholas never lost.
The very first year I wrestled, it's kind of funny because the wrestling coach, when I was in 7th grade, because I was so small, approached me and asked me if I would try wrestling. I'd never wrestled a day in my life. And I went undefeated the first year.
Jeez.
It's the only sport I could do anything in. I couldn't do track, couldn't do football, basketball, anything like that. So I was like, I guess this is my sport.
That's great.
But I would always hear with a 500 screaming people in a tournament. I could always hear my mom.
Yep, absolutely.
Time.
I didn't cheer. I didn't do anything. I just prayed that they wouldn't get hurt and that they wouldn't lose. It's one-on-one. Everybody's watching you. Like baseball, football. Like my son loved football. You had a helmet on. Like nobody knows really who you are, and he liked that thing. But you're out there wrestling. Yeah. Everybody.
At the end of the day, it's a team sport because all the points come together, and this team wins over this team. But it's an individual sport as well.
Yep.
You are one-on-one against another competitor, and that's one of the most difficult kind of things to do. It's not tennis or ping pong. You're fighting with somebody.
You're fighting. Yep. Yeah, good for you. That's awesome. I didn't know that. We learned something new about Gears today. All right. So let's get into what we're here for. What games we're playing. Gears, what have you been up to last week?
Still kind of. I finally made it through Act 2 on Diablo.
It's like watching
paint
dry.
I finally beat that damn devil dog, and like I told you, I figured out you have to stay behind him and keep fucking him doggy style, and that's the only way you could beat him. Because if I was in front of him, I was dead. So I got done with that, and I continued through the process, and now I'm against another boss battle, some lady. I don't remember what. That's where I'm at with that.
So still Act 3, by the way, has the hardest fight I had in the game.
Yeah.
Brawl. So when you get to Brawl, let me know. I will come help.
Okay, sounds good. Well, maybe by the time I get to that, I'll be 50.
It doesn't matter. Well, you know what? I don't think it really matters because the enemies level up too. So I don't think it really matters what level you are.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of wondered if that was the case. Like the more you level up, the harder they get. That's some bullshit right there.
But it's cool. Like if you play multiplayer with somebody, like you and I go in.
Yeah,
I'm fighting like this. Even though I'm fighting the same guy, it like levels out where he's my level and he's your level for your fight. So it's pretty cool that they did that.
Got you. So if you come into mine, we're on my level. You can come in and destroy them.
No. I am actually playing. Like to me, the enemies are my level.
You?
Yeah.
Oh,
but not to you. It's smart enough to realize the differences.
God, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's fantastic. Destiny wasn't like that, if I remember in the day when it first came out.
So that and played a little bit more God of War, and then I started playing a game called Fabledom, which is kind of a little city builder, but like a fantasy kind of city builder. So I love those kind of games. So last night I think I spent probably a couple hours playing that, building my city, and you got to have lumberjacks and lumber houses and stone houses and coal houses and all that kind of stuff, and you see them all running around gathering shit up and bringing it in, and so it's just really relaxing. The music's kind of nice, and when I'm not out battling monsters, I like to build little villages.
Fantastic. You can't really lose when you build a village, can you?
You can't really lose when you're doing a game like that. It's just a really chill.
That's cool. Yeah, you need games like that.
Yep. Good. What about you?
Really just Diablo 4 is all I've been playing. I'm getting tempted by Fraser to jump back into whatchamacallit, in the Bayou. How could I forget the name of the
vampire
game?
One?
No. Oh my God. My memory is going. It's horrible.
Hey, wait till you get to my age.
Well, anyway. So he's been pushing me, but I've been doing Diablo 4. So I'm trying to get myself squared away and ready for season 1. So I'm trying to level my character up, and I'm trying to get all of my XP that can carry over. And it seems like there's a lot of confusion on this. But before I get to that, I did play with Marcanix and my friend Joe. They're both in our clan, which, by the way, you got to get you over to our clan now. I was on the PC, Joe was on the PlayStation, Mark was on the Xbox, and we all played together. It was fantastic.
No issues, no problems.
Nothing. We were talking. It was great. We jumped into chat group.
That's true cross-platform goods right there.
Yep. I was like, yes, this is it. So we're doing nightmare dungeons to get XP, and there, like I think I mentioned last week, there's just a lot of pretty good end game content. They have this thing called Helltide, where like a section of the map turns into hell, and there's a lot of enemies, and you get this extra currency with different chests, and you have better chances of getting some high level gear and uniques and stuff like that. So we've been doing that. But season 1 was announced, I think, since we were on, and that's coming out July 20th.
Yep.
And there seems to be a lot of confusion about character loss and what have you. So from what I understand is with each season, the way Diablo or Blizzard has done it is they basically make you create a new character to fight in this, I don't know if it's a realm or this entity, right? So if you want to play in the new season 1 storyline that they're going to put out there, you have to create a new character. And I think they do this so that everybody kind of has an even playing field and no one's like kind of much higher than others. There was a lot of questions. People thought their old characters were going to go away and get deleted, and you had to use the first character you logged in on. Basically what happens is, in order to play the season 1 content, you need to have completed the campaign. And you can take all the XP. So the renown is what you get. If you like look at your map and you can see, each section you unlock an extra health file, and then you unlock different stuff. So renown is what you're using for that. So anything that you accumulate there, you can carry over to your new character. So all the leveling that you put in, the XP, the skill points, the Paragon points, all that stuff you can keep, but you can only pick it from one character and carry it over to the character in the new season. And then that new character in the new season, you just use all that to build that character up. Gotcha. So if you want to keep playing, like Mother, we were talking today, she was worried that, she's got like 5 characters and she plays kind of equally with all of them. You don't have to go, you can always keep playing with them.
You don't lose none of that. This is like a whole separate game almost.
It's like a new game. New campaign. Yep. If you want to play it, though, you have to complete it. The cool stuff is it's free. You do not have to pay a dime. If you want to pay, I think there's 2 levels. Like the first level of pay is you get cosmetic stuff every certain number of levels. And then you can pay a higher amount, and I think you can get you can skip to higher levels quicker or something like that.
And they have they have the in-game store where you can buy whatever you want if you want to. I mean, honestly,
I'm not spending a dime. I mean, that was
I've never spent dime on any freaking game outside of buying the game.
Yeah, it's not. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, if it's free, do it. So, so
Diablo's, finish that campaign first.
You got to finish the campaign, and then you can move on.
I'll probably actually be in hell by the time that ever happens.
I'm so glad you guys talked me into playing it. I love it. It's just such a perfect kind of game for me right now.
Just a fun little button masher.
I jump in the morning, like before work, I'll jump in and do, a 20-minute play and go do a dungeon real quick or something.
Yep.
I was getting all the altars of Lilith. I want to get them all done. They're done. So, you just jump in and do some shit like that. Yeah,
just blast through some stuff, rank up a little bit, unlock some stuff, and call it a night.
Yeah. Then there's the addicted part too, right? So Saturday, I get up early. I get to usually play when I wake up, so like 5:30 in the morning. Yep. And I'm like, all right, it's a Saturday morning, nothing's going on. I'm like, all right, let me go. And then as I'm traveling somewhere, I realize there's a Helltide event. So I'm like, all right, let me do this and collect. So I did that. And then a world boss was popping on in 5 minutes. I'm like, well, I got to do the world boss. So then I went and did the world boss. And I ended up staying on for 2 hours longer than I thought.
Good shit.
That's the way it goes, baby.
Yeah.
So I think that is a Lousy at Gaming Podcast.
That is a wrap.
It is a wrap. Check us out on Discord. Come by. Plum's there now. Kevin's been back. Stinky. They're getting, Truss has always been there.
See Truss back again.
I think the fellas are looking to set up a Fortnite kind of thing. I never
I know
ever
Woody
played
and
Fortnite.
Stinky been playing that a lot. Yeah. I've tried it a couple times. It's a different style of game because I think you got to build buildings and stuff like that, and
it's weird. I was a PUBG guy. Like that was kind of my move with those types of games. But I don't know. Maybe I'll let my kids play as me.
There you go.
My daughter was playing it for a while, which is really cool. She's not a gamer. She was playing that with her friends for a couple of months last year after the boys came home from college, I think, like in the winter.
That's funny. When my granddaughter came over Saturday, one of the first things she asked is, "Papa, can we game?"
Love it. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right, everybody. Well, play lousy, and we'll catch you next week.
It sounds like a plan.
All right. Die, baby.
Peace.
Later.